Yes.
Dude, you're trying to put lipstick on a pig. Don't worry about it.
Who's on who a pig?
I'm not like you're the only one. I'm just saying, just don't
You
put.
need to fix your hair too. You
Don't try to teach a pig to sing. Waste your time and annoys the pig.
Yeah. Plus your hair is sticking up in the middle too.
Yeah, we were definitely having some. Hey, friend, we were definitely having some issues with. Oh, I didn't bring my models in my car. Oh well.
You got your hair sticking up. See.
Oh, I got my alfalfa spritzer spit going. Look at that. Oh my gosh, guys. Yeah, I'll just hold my head like that, but I can't see it. Well, hello everybody. Oh, yeah, that's Ken.
I'm Ken.
And we're doing this from his house, as you can tell. But so for reasons I won't bore you with, we're doing this straight on YouTube Live, which is why we didn't have a lot of warm-up time or anything. I don't have any special effects. I can't put pictures up or anything. Normally, I use something called OBS, but I'm at his place. I think you actually have OBS, because last time we did use it, but that was a long time. But I don't know, Ken, maybe if you've been in here a half hour ago getting things ready.
Who was the one that was giving us a history?
You were feeding me lasagna. You know I was distracted. And
yeah.
So
and he didn't let any of his little piece get away either.
It's against my religion. Let's adjust the camera. Watch your eyes. I look pretty good, actually. Oh, I'm beautiful. Man, that's what the look of envy looks like. It's like we're seeing like we're looking in a mirror.
Sure.
So anyway, guys, happy 82nd birthday or 82nd anniversary of the Normandy invasion. You'll notice I say the Normandy invasion, not the D-Day invasion, because as I know most of you know.
See what other people are saying already.
Happy birthday. It's Ken's birthday tomorrow. He's going to be 35, twice plus.
Plus one.
71st. And he looks like he's, 50? That's not fair. I only look young because the fat stretches out the wrinkles. Well, now would be a good time to insert. It's closed. I put it up for manual commercial.
I don't have a touchscreen.
Oh, there's no work because it's not a touchscreen, you moron.
Wow, Ken invites Max to his house and Max yells at him.
Yeah. Have you not watched this thing before?
Obviously, y'all are new to this channel.
You only get to talk that way to people you care about. Because the people you don't care about, you talk that way too, and they pop you in the beak one time.
Need a green screen and a Grinch mask for Ken. Thank you, Dreamberry.
By the way, was it the Dreamberry said somebody? I think I posted. They said they sent themselves like CGI'd into a Planet of the Apes costume, and while that mission was up, it was going way past the moon. He's like, okay, the whole world has 4 days for everybody getting an ape mask, and so when they land, they pop the hatch. That would have been funny. I think the scuba diver that picked him, I should have done that.
Well, Dad says, hello to all. If that is Ken's house, how come he is not in charge of the computer?
It's funny you should mention that. He was sitting here and I was sitting there, but I'm the only one who knew how to operate the gizmo gadget here that makes the thingy go across the universe.
So I gave him my chair. That's the nice guy I am.
You want to switch back now?
No.
Okay. I am in the cushy chair. It's not a bad chair.
Yeah, I work in that chair.
It doesn't squeak much either. Maybe I should get one of these to do because I'm constantly editing out squeaks in my videos.
It doesn't squeak at all.
So, as I'm sure you guys know, the Steve's just gonna have to call in, I guess, if he wants to.
Ken has his helmsman.
Actually, I can turn this off here, and if Steve calls in, I can just
take
Ken birthday. There's my messengers and my alert thing. Say Ken birthday tomorrow.
That's right.
I'm taking him out to the boomer shooter range to go boomer shooting.
Yeah, and, we're gonna go kill some targets.
And I brought literally his birthday present is a physical bucket of bullets. So get ready to make smoke.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I didn't bring in the big magnums or anything. I brought the nice general shooting 38s.
You didn't bring the M1?
The M1A? I thought about that, but I didn't know what that range had. And I was like, that thing at 100 yards, that's like shooting an M1A at 100 yards. And geez, that's like dropping an atom bomb on a flea.
Yeah. The same thing as shooting the 6.5 at 100 yards too.
Speaking of which, that does dovetail what we're with tonight's subject, which was the Normandy invasion. As you guys know, most GIs, when they hit the beaches at Normandy, were carrying the famous M1 Garand. And I have been, if there's any truth to what Ian over at Forgotten Weapons says, it's properly pronounced Garand, not Garand, which I've been saying my whole life, and I'm trying to wean myself off of it. But anyway, that was a 30-06, caliber 30 year of 1906. which is an enormous rifle.
Pause. Super Pizio says, I'm saying that this is Ken's double-wide houseboat. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
We should start doing this together in unison.
While Dad goes, a gun on a birthday, only in the States.
You know, baby. America.
That's right. We love our guns.
What people go, America's never been in, well, actually, America has. Well, yeah, I guess America's been invaded by the British and the Canadians. People forget about that. Those bloodthirsty Canadians burned down our capital. I don't think we forgot.
Well, so did the British.
Yeah. So
they took turns.
But anyway, so that is why we all own guns, because of the British and the Canadians. You just never know when they'll get froggy and do it again.
That's right.
And anyway, so the big old M1 Garins that they carried, 30-06 caliber, very powerful rifle, and they used it through that in Korea. But after the Second World War, the Army, you know, armies, especially the American Army, there are some things it doesn't do so well. Just watching any of the entertainment they try to provide. I mean, their idea of entertainment, you know, is just so G-rated, and but it's so vanilla. But so one thing that the Army does really, really, really well is research. Following World War II, they did like a 12-year-long study into I mean, they tried to incorporate just about every firefight they could. They were trying to link, what does the next Army rifle need to have? And they came to the realization.
Well, Dad says, well, you burnt ours first.
Fair play. Turnabout is fair play. True. Not wrong. You know, we actually invaded Canada. I'm kind of like, what were you guys thinking? It was this was the era of the land grab. By God, this is the era of empire. And
that's right.
What I love about the people of that era is they just wore it on their sleeve. They don't make any apologies. Anyway,
thanks to all the guys saying happy birthday.
Ken 3D prints these things. You got to stack up on the table and just keep bumping my hand against them.
Yeah, one of these days I'll put them together.
So, and
if you want to do something model-like, I could show them my tank.
Technically, wasn't North America invaded by everybody going? It was, but I was talking about this the other day. This is why Apache Indians, Native Mexicans, and Mongols look so much alike. Apparently, it was the same group of people that came across the land bridge and then moved their way down. And a lot of them kept that look, you know, and as they moved into more wooded areas and all these other things, you know, over time, things change. But they're currently thinking the land bridge, that people actually lived on the land bridge for a couple of centuries before it sank. And they're starting to think this stuff all happened faster than we used to think. Oh, it was 20,000 years ago. It's probably more like 1,200. I don't know how they figure these things out or make their guesstimates. Maybe that's just how some doctoral candidate gets research money.
Kurt G says, we invaded Canada twice. It did not go well.
Well, the captain's master. Well, the good thing is now, you know, when us and the Canadians want to go, we do it the old-fashioned way, on the hockey rink or the baseball diamond, the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I was like, I talked to John Kitt, Fast Sports, about this a lot. The reason Canadians are so nice is they take out all their aggression on the hockey rink.
Well, they're actually trying to, what is that? Alberta is trying to go separate. They're separate.
Oh, we're not going to touch. That's a Canadian thing. We're not touching that. You know, Alberta, the Canadian Cowboys, and of course they get, but yeah, we have the Tar Sands. You know, I growing up in Florida, hockey was not part of my life. You know, because we don't get a lot of ice down there. When we do, it's usually in a martini. But the thing is that I got to admire hockey, any sport where they put blades on their feet and give everyone a club and don't have a lot in the way of rules. I mean, come on. You know, it's the old joke. I went to a boxing match and a hockey game broke out.
Something like that.
So anyway.
Without the stick.
Yeah. So anyway, getting back to the other thing is that into their geese. Oh, yeah. Tell Sully Sullenberger about that. It's Canadian geese. They brought down an Airbus.
That's right. They're good.
And I've hit a few of those. And I tell you what, it's like taking flak. I mean, it ain't like thunk. It's like, oh, what? You like, it felt like somebody threw a Chevy at the airplane.
Like that helicopter.
You can't find it. Yeah, General Buck Turgidson, the president, Murphy Muttley, to General Buck Turgidson, and the Russian ambassador. You can't fight in here. This is the war room.
It was like that helicopter that ran into that geese. goose.
Oh yeah, the one at carrying Gaithersburg. Yeah, and it skewered it on the cable cutter, and they brought it back. And Johnny Hobbs dressed it out, served it. Except for one breast being busted open, it was perfectly good goose.
Of course.
And oh god, Jamil was flying that thing, and he'd flown in the Persian Gulf, and he was an Iranian guy who was a pilot, helicopter pilot there, and he came down and he was white as a ghost.
Yeah, that gets your attention.
It got his attention. You know, I thought I'd lost a rotor blade. It was a Bell Jet Ranger, and he was flying. It has the cable cutters on it, and his goose got hooked on and it didn't get skewered. It got wedged up when the cable.
On the bottom one.
On the bottom one, yeah. And they had that photo up on the wall for years. So I'm kind of like, it's not like anything you can do. It happens so fast, you know.
Didn't see it.
And believe it or not, those cable cutters actually do work. There have been helicopters that have hit cables with them, and it survived.
Wow.
They had an R-22, that little flimsy R-22, right up there in St. Augustine. The guys are flying along, and they felt a thump, but they didn't know what it was, and the power went out. They didn't realize that they had gone under power lines, and a rotor blade had hit it, and it had slapped the top of the rotor blades and severed the cable, but they didn't know until they landed.
Oh,
and
wow.
the blades didn't even go out of balance, which, given how flimsy the blades on that thing are, that was impressive. Because that's a helicopter that's known, if you ever control it, will chop its own tail off, which has happened. But anyway,
that'll ruin your day.
You and whoever's underneath you.
But so how many tangents have we gone off on?
I lost count. I ran out of fingers back when I was talking about the M1.
We haven't hit the topic once.
So yeah, getting back to the topic. After the war,
what is the topic?
The D-Day invasion.
Oh, okay.
You know, Normandy, and because today's the 82nd anniversary of the Normandy invasion. Remember, every invasion was a D-Day. We're specifically 82nd anniversary of Normandy, which is ironic because the 82nd Airborne Division jumped in there, and St. Mary Glees. So the Army does this massive. It took like 12 years, and they went over the use of guns and rifles, and they learned a lot of staggering stuff. One, that although soldiers in those days routinely trained 300, 400, 500, 600 meter ranges, and they had the big M1 Garins that could do 1,000-meter shot. Sent you an email for D-Day. Okay, Gar, I'll check that out in a bit.
Rob Altus says there's a topic.
Well, but the thing is they realized that most dogfights, most gunfights took place at less than 80 yards. And they kind of realized these big, huge rifles are overkill. You know, they're actually too much gun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's one thing on a European battlefield where the enemy may be 300, 400 yards away and you can see him. But most places going through a city or where the firefights are happening, or in the jungles, these guns are more of an encumbrance. And when they went to M14, they had the same problem. In Vietnam, the gun was just too big for jungle use. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons they wound up drifting down into the what later became the M16, which was a much handier gun. Mm-hmm. And Hal Moore, the colonel who was running from Idrang Valley, you know, they made the movie We Were Soldiers Once and Young, played by Mel Gibson. Mm-hmm. His unit had just gotten M16s, and he said that made all the difference when they got in a close battle and the Vietnamese hit them in force. Mm-hmm. He goes, the rapid recovery time, the quick reload, the fact that every soldier carried literally twice as much ammo because it weighed half as much. So all those things were essential. That the M16 was, and this is back when the M16 was still pretty trouble plagued. Mm-hmm. But he said, he goes, if we had the M14s, we probably would have gotten overrun. Which is, I'm a big gun guy. I like those big rifles, but even I'll have to admit that's probably true. Yeah, up close and nasty, and that's why a lot of the paratroopers love their M1 carbines, because the battles were up close and personal. Mm-hmm. But then when you're on the beach shooting at a German 300 yards away, on an open beach, getting the crap shelled out of you, that's when you're glad you got the M1. Yep. But the M16 had its problems, though. They learned that when they're out in the Middle East, that when they had the big caliber guns, they could blow holes in the adobe walls, and the M16 just no, it's not a penetrating round. But
Cass Wayne says most gunfights take place under 80 yards, and yes, it is then okay to bring a knife to a gunfight under those situations.
Well, they were still training the bayonet. I mean, World War I, people don't realize as recently as World War I, the bayonet was actually considered a primary weapon. And
did not know that.
Yeah, because you had bolt action rifles that you had to cycle and got somebody. And one of the Thompson submachine gun was called a trench broom. Colonel Thompson designed that because of the trouble once trench warfare was established on the Western Front.
Mm-hmm.
He realized that these magnificent infields and O3s and Mauser 98s were all way too big for fighting in the trenches. And of course, they had those big 16-inch bayonets and everything that were clumsy as heck. So he says, what we need is a small, fully automatic gun for up close in the trenches. That's what the Thompson was originally designed for. It was called a trench broom.
Celebrating says Marines still train with bayonets.
Oh, well, yeah. And when I was in the Army, we never trained with the bayonet. And I had bayonet on M16s, kind of, right? That's more of a, show of force than anything else. I mean, don't get me wrong, you could still use it, but it's one thing when you got an 11-pound rifle that's 4 feet long, thrusting a 12-inch bayonet. It's another thing when you got a, 3.5-pound rifle. But
most of the killing was done by less than 20% of the participants.
I was about to say the next thing they learned is that 2% of the soldiers did most of the killing, and almost all of it was done by less than 20%. And they learned something that was a very uncomfortable truth. And Lindy Beige has talked about this.
That was the target thing you were talking about.
Yes. One of the problems was they taught people to shoot at bullseye targets. When you look down to your front sight and see a human being on the other end, doesn't matter if they're wearing the other uniform. You're still a human being. They're a human being. And a lot of people would close their eyes or pull off target. They just couldn't do it. And the most effective soldiers were sociopaths. And no, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
The guys who could look down the sight at a fellow human being, look him right in, and make out that this is a living, breathing human and put a bullet through him. Not always, but frequently they had sociopathic tendencies. And if they didn't when they went in, they did when they came out.
Okay. D-Day.
Now, so what they started doing was that's why they came up with the silhouette target. That way you train on a silhouette target. So when you started shooting at a person, and they learned it went up to like 35, 40%. It made a huge difference. In D-Day, one of the problems that they had was they're going down the beach and they're fighting with the Germans in close quarters. It turned out a lot of the people at Normandy weren't German. They were Poles or Czechs who'd been conscripted.
Mm-hmm.
And they're running around trying to surrender because they had no use for the Nazis. And the Americans are like, wrong uniform, bang, you're dead.
Well, you didn't know if they're going to come at you and trick you or not.
Yeah, and that did happen. That's one of the reasons they didn't take very many Japanese prisoners, is because they would pull that crap. So the Marines just quit taking them all together.
I like what Andy Chandler says. I never wanted to get close enough to have to use a bayonet. I prefer to stay 500 yards away from the enemy. Yeah, I tend to agree with that philosophy.
Did you know you guys, these can openers fit on the end of a rifle? Well, the big joke is that you were saying, you thrust the bayonet. Once it's in him, you twist it, pull around to dislodge, fire around to dislodge it, and pull it out. Well, even if I got a round in the chamber, why am I using the bayonet?
Yeah.
But primitive. We got issued bayonets one time on an EDRI, a deployment exercise. And that's when they gave us the real gas mask filters, not the training filters. And they were all sealed in these things. They were like, okay, pull out your training filters, which is screen out CS gas, which is what we trained with. Mm-hmm. But we're putting in the real gas mask filters, and they're giving us bayonets, and no one's getting issued a blank firing adapter. And I'm like, dude, I think we're going somewhere for realsies. And that's when everybody's like, what?
No, camera.
No, Bill, I'm getting it at my end as well. Maybe you're being monetized, but
they're getting ads.
Oh, I told it not to do that, but I guess it just said, I'm sorry, Max, but it's time to run an advertisement. Are you guys still getting the I don't even know if they can hear us when they're getting the ad.
I don't know. Can ask them.
Somebody type something when the ads are over, because I don't know if they're going to start one every single minute. I've been one a minute. You know what? I bet if I was to demonetize this, the ads would stop. What do you think? Can I do that?
I don't know if you can do it midstream.
I don't know. Guys, we're going to enable. I turned it off. Ads insert. Oh, crap. Ads inserted. It did it anyway. Oh, that was an insert ad button. Oops. I don't normally use this. He pushed the wrong button.
Sorry, guys.
I thought I was demonetizing it. Turns out I had it in a commercial. That was me. Sorry.
Yeah, critical. Sorry about that.
I'm going to put it in here because maybe this will, because I guess I have to wait for the ad to run. I don't know how long those things are.
I think it sits on the side because it doesn't slow the live stream.
It doesn't
down.
slow the live stream down?
I don't think so. It just puts an ad on the side.
Okay.
Yeah, he pushed the wrong.
There's a button up here with an ad with a sign, and I thought I could click it and turn monetization off. Turned out that inserts an ad because I told it I'd do it manually. Clearly, it knew I was lying because it started putting the ads in anyway.
Cham says, "Don't push the button."
Don't push the button, Max. Oh boy, that's just great. That's great. So I had lunch today with Fran and Bruce, the Mystic Modeler ships.
At least that was on a sailboat.
Getting an ad for feminine hygiene products. Not much in the way of target marketing, is it?
No, it's not going after the right crowd.
But the ad was in a chat window. Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting.
You got one for an ad for the Ontario government. Ken, take over, please. We need.
You just kind of want to click the button to see what they'll dream up next.
They want me to take over.
Well,
no. You stay there. You're all right. Just don't push anything.
Hands in the air.
Don't touch that. That's the history.
Don't touch that dial.
That's the history erasure button, you fool.
But so we did a D-Day group build, and we had all kinds of LSTs and Higgins boats and all that other stuff. There's all this weird equipment that they don't make kit models of. Sometimes guys are really good at kit bash it, but there are all these one-off HIV treatment. I should just run Geritol ads. Geritol. My dad used to watch the Lawrence Walk show, for anybody that remembers that. And it was always sponsored by Geritol. I thought it was some kind of seasoning you put on the food, like MSG or something. But anyway, so the dating ad, maybe it is target marketing.
Bad news. Live stream got
interrupted. Good news. Max shot the $50 for the. Did I?
I doubt it.
Click that button again.
Yeah, one more time. You gotta pay for the trip home.
But anyway, so Bruce and myself and Fran.
What? As long as we do not get ads for
what's Tenactin?
As long as we don't get boating ads for Ken's boating tips.
Modelers need dates. Yeah, Tenactin. It makes the itchy part not itch. Or that's the advertisement. So
modelers need dates.
That could be a website. Dating from the modelers dating channel. 6,000 guys, 3 girls.
No, not that kind of dates. Probably dates for something.
M4 Sherman 148 scale 70th Armor Battalion Cannonball. Sent you the pics. Good. I have over a day's worth of views. I've been on the road, so I haven't been able to. I'm not. If you're not getting any answers to your emails from me yet, that'll start day after tomorrow. The reason is one of the reasons I lose people's pictures or forget to put them in is because I look at them and go, "Oh, great," and I tell it, save these, and then for one reason or another, I never get around to downloading them on the computer. So I think if I just don't touch my emails at all, okay, then when I get home, I can go through them and download them straight into the folder for the viewers' builds. And of course, we got the F1 car and IndyCar coming up at the end of the month. And I just got that IndyCar kit from Bruce. He gave me as a gift. And I meant to bring it in here to show you. But anyway, so I might see if I can do that. But that gives me 5 open builds at one time, which is... Oh,
Super PZL wants to know, anyone know of a good RAF Javelin kit?
Okay, guys. Anyone know of a good Royal Air Force Javelin kit? The last Javelin kit I built was a Gloucester Javelin. I was about 14 or 13, and it was that big one from, was it Hawk? And I remember thinking, this airplane, the Javelin, looks like it should be on the set of Star Wars. I mean, it was just the coolest looking airplane. And the Brits operated for a long time, but I didn't realize that airplane was really big, really heavy, and really, really, really complicated. And the one jet they had that I never thought was particularly pretty was the Buccaneer, but apparently it was really good. And I thought the Javelin looks so much better. Yeah, but the Buccaneer is a better, does the job better. But I don't care because the Javelin looks cool. It's like a Vulcan with a tail and lots of missiles. And you go out on YouTube and see the footage of those things flying. They're just beautiful. Okay, the Frog 172nd Kel Javelin and 1970 AMC Javelin. Oh, he means the car. Somebody means the car.
There's a few out there. The Hawk did one, and somebody else said they.
I built the Hawk one.
Airfix did one.
The Hawk kit, I built it 50 years ago, so I just remember it went together real easy, and it was one of the first ones I painted, and I just thought it was an awesome looking airplane. $8 in here.
158th Airfix?
Yeah, depending. They used to do box scale, so make the model to fit the box. So you had all these exotic scales.
That's right.
Then you have a wall before it standardized. 140. He meant 148. 148. Okay. 148 is still like the best general scale. By the way, I was just talking with Fran and Bruce about this. I think I may have solved the dilemma of where to put the B-25 with that big 132nd scale one. My back is still sore because yesterday I put together 2 lighted cabinets, which are in the office now. They're just like the one that's behind me normally on the live streams. My wife got me a couple more. I got them all together, and they're wide enough that the left side actually goes over the window.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's enough void space, in the alcove for the window, but I could put the B-25 up there, and the wing or the tail or whatever I want can go back in the window area, the recess in the window, and the wing can overhang off the side. And so I think I've got a place to put it. I'm probably going to bring my 132nd scale models in and put them in the office there, and that'll leave me more room out in the Tarbis. Fran offered to come help me hang some serious shelving in the Tarbis, but now that I bought all those pre-made shelves and everything, I think
at least we don't have to worry about things falling off.
Oh Lord, still having PTSD from that. Post-traumatic shelf disorder.
That must have been quite shocking to walk into your Tarbis and see all these models destroyed on the floor.
I imagine it's a very watered down version of what Admiral Kimmel saw when he looked out at Pearl Harbor. Although, as I mentioned in this morning's video, is that those pictures of the junkyards in the Pacific where they were just pushing off destroyed airplanes, and I ran those pictures. And we all think of Kingman, Arizona, and places like that, Marana, where all the airplanes were brought back and the engines were pulled off, and ignore the person behind them. But these were actually just ones that were pushed off into a ditch right there on the airfield, and I didn't realize how many airplanes we, including like B-29s and stuff, they just shoved them off the side and left them there to.
Super PCL says, showed my wife the video of Max showing off his stash. She said he has an obsession, not a hobby, an obsession.
Not an obsession. Not an obsession.
I'm
not obsessed.
People have an obsession don't know they have an obsession.
No, I have an obsession.
And deny it.
Yeah, I have an obsession. That's like the basic idea. The first thing you're an alcoholic is denial. So if I'm not an alcoholic, I'm saying I'm not an alcoholic. I have the same symptom as someone who is and does.
Yeah, that works that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Catch-22.
Like Captain Kirk's obsession.
So but what I was shocked was I made the mistake of saying that, they spirited off all the valuable parts. Well, a lot of them they didn't. They just pushed them off the side with the engines and everything still on. And I'm like,
I guess they didn't need the engines.
I guess they had enough spare parts. They didn't need them. Or maybe, and I normally I'd say, well, maybe they were damaged, but no, a lot of the airplanes still had the engines on them. I'm like, the props were missing on all of them though. So I guess that was something I had to be replaced, probably got whatever. But
John Ashley says, I am shrewd enough to not show my wife such videos.
He's a shrewd negotiator. So but my mom's boyfriend was at Normandy. He got there about 4 in the afternoon after the initial battle was over and came in on a tank. I won't tell you the way he described it. It wasn't pretty, but all the ammunition, all the supplies, they get driven in, and of course it all came in crates.
Mm-hmm.
And so the guys would just pull everything out of the crates and just toss the crates. So of course the French countryside is littered with every size, shape, and dimension of wooden crate you can imagine, which the locals were like, you realize how good the quality of our shipping crates was? I mean, they were building houses out of this stuff. Yeah. One man's junk is another man's treasure.
Mm-hmm.
And Fran was talking about this at lunch. He being a retired colonel, he's a tanker. So one thing he thoroughly understands is Soviet doctrine, armor doctrine. And he brought up an interesting point I hadn't considered before. The Russian attitude is you move forward. If your tank breaks down, everybody just keeps going. You just wait for the next wave of tanks and join them. So, of course, the countryside's littered with broken down Russian tanks, who then the field, later on, the mechanics will come up and try and fix them and get them working again. But nothing slows the progress.
Super PZL says, I showed my wife such videos so that she sees my stash of 20 kits is not bad in comparison.
Not at all. Not at all.
Nope.
And where is Steve? I thought he would have called in by now. I haven't even seen him in the comment section either.
Maybe he sold his house.
The
Brits pushed perfectly good American carrier aircraft off their carriers so they didn't have to pay for them.
That's true. Under the Lend-Lease, it was pay for them or push them over the side. That was more of an international treaty thing. A lot of those airplanes are pretty hard use. Thing you don't realize, we don't think, because we see these airplanes in an air show where they're babied and pampered, taken care of, and they're 70 years old and they're still in like new condition. But the military airplanes are actually rode hard, put away wet, and they weren't designed to last that long. A lot of times these airplanes are only a couple of years old. They were already pretty weary, between getting shot at and the field handling and the exposure to all the elements. And a lot of, rust and corrosion and everything. And a lot of airplanes just went over the side. There was one island. Okay, I'm trying to remember.
Wait a second. Andy Chandler says, Max, your B-25 is big enough. Maybe you could park it in the front yard as a lawn decoration. Shall I show him the B-25 you gave me?
Sure. Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay. So the I forget what island it was. Somebody did a documentary on it, but they offered at the end of the war, they offered all these, I think, with Marine Corps airplanes to the French for like 20 cents on the dollar. It was dirt cheap. And the attitude of the French was, I think it was the French, and they're like, why should we pay you 20 cents on the dollar when it's going to cost you more than that to take it home? You'll just leave it there. So the Marines pushed every one of them, bulldozers and everything. They drove all the construction equipment. They drove it all into the ocean. You're not going to pay for it. You're not going to get it. This is our B-25. On its second airframe and wings, the only original parts, the guts and the tail. This is the one that can have me roll.
Inverted.
And he said, fly it upside down. Like, yeah, okay, well, that didn't work out
It's
well.
missing the canopy. It's in the other room. But it still flies. We replaced a good portion of it.
It's actually a pretty good model. That was an FMS.
Yeah, it's a nice fly model. It's got lots of good stuff in it. Anyway, that's Max's. Well, that's mine now.
We gave it to him.
You gave it to me.
Thank God, even the one I'm building isn't that big. Because it's sort of sticking motors on it. Yes. I also remember Clarkson, they built the 1-to-1 scale Spitfire. Supposedly the Russians, when the jet engines were new, they were having trouble getting the jet engine developed the way they wanted.
Now that's a lawn ornament.
And Stalin was like, what's taking so long? They go, well, the engines only last like a couple of 100 hours. He goes, military airplanes aren't supposed to last that long. In fact, I'll make a new rule. Any pilot his engine lasts more than 200 hours, he's not running it hard enough, he'll be shot. Well, supposedly he told Tupolev, when they got the 3 B-29s, he goes, I want you to reverse engineer this. And Tupolev was like,
oh, Steve's saying answer the phone.
Oh.
He got it muted?
Well, I always have it muted, but
you have one new voice message. New message.
it should have lit up.
To replay this message marked for deletion.
Try again, Steve.
No, let me just call him. I'm not showing a call coming in. That's what we're. There it is. Why didn't it show? I'm going to call you, Steve.
You have no messages in your mailbox.
I said to call Steve. Steven, there we go. Hit that. Okay. Here it comes.
I've been here the whole time. Read the comments.
I'm not seeing it in the. Oh, there it is. Answer the phone. Okay.
Sorry, Steve.
I got that car from Bruce. That F1 car or Indy car.
It's not an Indy car. It's an F1 car.
F1 car. Yeah. So now I have an Indy car and an F1 car.
You probably have to turn that up so they can hear him.
That's up all the way. Can you guys hear Steve? Yep, it's up all the way.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, we're here.
So Ken, happy birthday, almost.
Almost. I got your present yesterday, but I decided not to open it until my birthday. Although,
Okay.
but Deb read the tag and she says, "Oh yeah, you're gonna like that."
Yeah, I just thought you decided not to thank me for it.
No, well, I'll find out when I get it tomorrow. Unless you want me to open it now.
Why don't you open it now and
Go
show
get
the
it.
blue
I could
troopers?
open it now.
Go get it now.
Be
Ken's
right back.
first birthday present.
No.
Well, I mean, for this birthday, not his
Oh,
first
oh,
birthday
okay.
present ever. You know.
Yeah, this way Steve gets to see me open it.
Hey, all right. And it's happening in real time. The Max's Models live stream where anything can happen. And I should say where anything can go wrong and often does.
Because Max is in charge of the
Including
computer.
Can you guys hear Steve okay?
Guess we'll find out.
Where the Harvey Nugget takes guts. Real pure guts. Now a version to add. Oh, well. I keep getting advertisements. Don't cut yourself.
No, I
Don't
won't.
cut me.
You're such a wuss.
Yeah, I never made a secret of that. That was my call sign in the Army. Hey, wuss.
She was right.
Well, oh, is that a compass?
I'm not sure what it is.
Well, open it up and see. It's a brass nautical gizmo.
It's nautical something.
And it's surrounded with wood. Or is that leather?
For supporting our small business.
It might be pleather.
It's a sundial. Oh, cool.
I want to see you use that around midnight.
It's solar powered.
Take it out of the cellophane, Ken.
He's working on that.
I'm working on that, Steve.
Don't take him off. He's got a pointy Sharpie thing.
Pointed right at Max.
Yeah, and when I say Sharpie, I don't mean the ink pen.
Oops, sorry, it slipped.
That didn't hold up in court last time. It's not going to hold up next time either. Yeah,
I thought you
Ken,
were.
they only accept the "it slipped" comment when there's one stab wound.
Well, I want to make sure you felt it the first time.
Yeah, that high pitched squeal might have been too high for you to hear. You know, it's like only dogs are.
Look, I'm putting the knife away. Okay. It's been safetied.
All right. It comes with a nice Daniel Boone looking leather holder.
Gilbert and Sons, 1895. Oh, and it's wrapped up inside too. Hold that. I didn't say sniff it.
Smells like a new pair of boots. Gilbert and Sons, 1895. South Street, Blackwall, London. You got to give the Brits credit. They do have a nice way of naming things, very elegant.
Yeah, it's usually crap, though.
Yeah, but it's good looking crap.
What are you so afraid of?
You slipping, me getting bleeding out, you know.
Not on my floor, you're not.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You know, Trust me, if that happens, my last 3 words are going to have the initials FUK.
Gotta admit, Steve, it's well packed.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I'm glad to see the guys.
Well, it's been preserved
I'm
since
glad to see the
1895.
Glad to see the guys in China are on top of it.
Okay, I gotta safety the knife again, so
Yeah.
Max will stop
Or
panicking.
YouTube will kill the video. Yeah. Remember what they did when Ian was playing with the boomstick? So how do we use this thing?
Okay, I gotta put it up here so Steve can see it.
Here.
Can you see it, Steve?
Yeah.
I guess you'll see it in a few seconds.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I guess it's
It has a gadgetometer.
I guess it's so you can correct it for latitude and other variations.
There's a hinge there, so it must pop open.
This is pretty cool. Okay, here's the
You want me to get the how-to video on the YouTube and see if we can figure out how this thing works? Okay, that goes up.
okay. That's for the sundial part of it. I'll figure out how this thing works, but this is really cool.
Well, there's a hinge, so I'm assuming it and there's a screw here, so I'm assuming one end screws up and down like an adjustment screw, right there.
Don't touch. That's,
Okay.
oh yeah. See, you set it.
I got a sundial.
See, you set it for what latitude you're at, so it automatically corrects.
Oh, okay. There we go. There we go.
That is so cool.
You're gonna have to learn to master that. Dare you to navigate on it.
That is so.
It's got a
It's like
compass
watching
built in. It's got a compass built in.
This is like watching Planet of the Apes when they. This is like watching Planet of the Apes when they found that glider that he made and it flew.
Yeah, it's a toy that flies. It floats on the air.
And it's got a compass in here too, and it's got a lock, so you can lock the compass so it doesn't get damaged. This is
You are a pestilence.
This is so cool. Thank you, Steve. That's very thoughtful of you.
Oh, don't get lost now, Ken.
Not with this. I got this. I'm good.
Yeah, when the Cuban Navy grabs you, like, yeah, he tried to navigate just on the.
Thank you so much. I'll have fun with that. I'll have to figure out how it works.
That would, yeah, absolutely. Oh, here's the beautiful case it goes in.
Oh yeah, we got to put it back in the case.
And now behind door number 2 with the lovely Carol Merrill.
Thanks, guys, for putting up with that.
Garfield 6.
Like 2 Gen Zers trying to use a dial phone.
Does it go on the top of the staff of Ra?
Ooh, next birthday, give him an astrolabe.
Killer says, does it go on top of the staff of Ra?
It's not a navigation. It's a time. It's for telling time.
Well, time's essentially navigation.
And, well, it's got
a compass.
It's got a compass in there, so kind of rudimentary, kind of, sort of.
You got to be able to calculate longitude.
Oh, J.M. Chalchuk is enjoying this.
Slide it.
He's rolling on the floor laughing.
Sunspot Museum, and it has a full-up sundial. Cool.
And a thing that tells time.
As Ken pointed out to me, and I confirmed he was right, the reason we have time zones was because of the trains.
Yeah, the railroads. They were tired of people missing the train all the time because each town had its own time.
It had a sundial, and noon at that town.
At noon in that town.
Town 2 miles over, and noon came a minute later.
That was 6 o'clock, and trains moved quickly. So by the time they got to the next town, it was 5 minutes off, and people were missing trains. So they said, "Okay, we're going to fix this. We're going to divide the earth up into 24 equal slices, and each one is going to have its own time." And that's how time zones got invented.
Trains outrunning the sundial. That's why they invented that rock song. Outrunning the sundial.
Yep.
Would help if I could carry a tune in a bucket, but I can't.
No, well, we've learned that a long time
Oh,
ago.
yeah. This is what they call common knowledge.
Adding this stream to my favorites.
If you look at Wall's math, just go back to the GPS. By the way, speaking of the GPS, They finally figured out what was disrupting the GPS. And I don't know if you guys know, but there has been a uniform disruption of the European GNSS, or what we call GPS systems, going on for a few years now. And they were doing a lot of research trying to find out what was causing it. And they figured it had to be a satellite because of the area that was covered.
Mm-hmm.
And they finally figured out it is a Russian satellite. Now, what they have not figured out yet is why it's doing it, because they're like 5 to 7 second disruptions. But it disrupts every single GPS signal. It's got one of either 3 functions. Either they're testing and maintaining the ability to bring down the GPS system all at one time, should the balloon ever go up, or they're using it as a way to send burst transmissions because they know no one's going to turn off the GPS system, so it's always available. And there was a third reason that I forget what it was, but so nobody really knows, but they have confirmed it was a Russian satellite. So we know the Russians have the ability at least to turn off GPS or jam GPS over Europe. But it doesn't discriminate.
Super PZL says it's the Soviets being the Soviets.
Yeah, that is almost verbatim what one of the commentators said. It's just the Russians being the Russians.
They don't care. Railroads operated on pre-planned written timetables. Standard time was essential for safety reasons. Yeah, because back before they had signals, they all were governed by time. And if you arrived at
China has one time zone border to border.
If you arrived at a siding at the wrong time, then you could have a head-on collision. So yeah, time was very essential to the railroads in the beginning.
No, it was developed. So the time zone developed for the railroads by Sir Sanford Fleming, a Canadian. Time with the sensitive new age pilot snaps sensitiveness now like that to learn how to fly fix to fix. And I'll tell you, I mean, I grew up on ADFs and you know coffee grinder NDBs and everything. But
Super BZL says train timetables worked fine until Amtrak.
well, if they could run on schedule, but
well, the freights keep screwing them up.
Well, maybe they should lay some track instead of borrowing everybody else's.
Well, that was the deal back in the beginning. That's why Amtrak ended up with all the passenger service, is because the railroads hated the passenger service.
Well, passengers don't pay, freight does.
Well, even in its heyday, passenger service pretty much broke even. They did it for the prestige, you know, to get more business. Okay, because hey, that's a great railroad. I've ridden on it. But when when the highways and the airlines started, you know, stealing all their traffic, then they were left with, because Congress said you had to run a passenger train. And so what they would do eventually, they just stuck a passenger train on the end of a freight train. And then, you know, that was their service. You got there when you got there. Exactly. So finally, Congress stepped in and said, you know what? Fine. You don't have to run the passenger service anymore. We'll create our own passenger railroad called Amtrak, but you have to give Amtrak free trackage rights. You can't charge them for it.
But they don't get first choice. The freight goes first.
Exactly. They never specified that Amtrak had to go first.
So don't be surprised you take Amtrak and spend a lot of your time sitting on a siding waiting for a freight to go the other way.
There was an example many years ago north of Jacksonville. There was an Amtrak train sat on the siding for 2 days. They were out of food. People were jumping off the train, trying to walk to the nearest town. It was out in the middle of nowhere. It was really bad.
God. There's your sales brochure. We'll drop you in the middle of nowhere, but hey, you can get off anytime you want. One of the worst Amtrak accidents was, I think it was Mississippi or Louisiana, and a barge ferry. They had tried to anchor for the night, but the man who had the job of tossing anchor ashore, he thought he had a secure anchorage and he didn't. So the crew went to slip
shore.
Yeah, what they do is they pull up near the shore with the barge, and they would throw the anchors along the trees and stuff and lash to the trees. Yeah, that was a common technique. I think it may still be, but he didn't realize he didn't actually hook the tree, just hooked some branches. So everybody went to sleep. Well, eventually, with the current, the branches gave way and the thing started to drip, and it hit an Amtrak bridge and offset the rails. I don't know, about 4 inches.
No. I know what you're talking about. That's not what happened. It was a barge. It was a
It
barge.
was a barge.
Barge ferry.
Uh-huh.
They were moving. It wasn't they came loose. They were moving, and they misjudged it. I think it was foggy or something, and they tapped a bridge support, and they thought.
They didn't think they'd done any damage.
Yeah, they didn't think, and bridge is still there,
But the tracks had misaligned a few inches.
Exactly, they had misaligned a little bit. So when the Amtrak train came along, it just went right off the edge of the bridge and right into the
It pulled a silver streak.
Yeah, went in the embankment on the other side. So, yeah, Pearl River wasn't. I'm not sure which river it was.
It might have been the Pearl. It's possible. Hey, Frankie Day's here. Hey, Frankie Day. So it was a real shame, and the poor fellow on the barge who was basically held responsible. They were talking about charging him with manslaughter and all this other stuff, and he was a broken man after that. He had such guilt, and the prosecutor. I saw an interview with the prosecutor. He said that he came into trial, about 2 years later. He goes, he'd lost half his body weight. He was hunched over. The guilt was killing him, and he was like, "This guy's torturing himself." So they just decided to drop the charges, and I don't think he lived a lot longer. And it's sad. It was, but
Stuart, you haven't missed anything, and no, he has not said the G word yet. Don't say it.
I hadn't thought about it.
It's got to come naturally.
Now, yeah, but now it's going to be floating around back there like, it's just going to be bobbing around like a little aneurysm bubble waiting to pop. And but
I was just saying, you haven't missed a great deal, just mostly Max's musings about D-Day and World War II.
But, we had all these great technologies like the swim tanks, the DDs, and only a handful of them even made it to shore. And they never taught the tankers how to be sailors, which is kind of important. And they said, you got to land on this beach. So they're all aiming at the beach with the currents carrying them away. What they should have said is, hey, guys, you're in a tank in the water that's barely floating. If the current carries you away, just aim for shore and go with the current. Don't fight it. And that's apparently one reason a lot of them got swamped. Didn't help that, the Germans were looking, I don't know what these are, but we're going to shoot at them. Can you imagine being a German on the hill and seeing a DD, which had the big canvas bag, and you're like, they're attacking us with canvas bags.
Celebrating says, isn't Ken's home a G, wait a minute, I'm saying this right, a G-free zone? I'm not going to say the word.
No, I don't think so.
No, it won't be. But he'll say it naturally when it's time.
When it's time. So
we're keeping him awake.
No, I should have had an afternoon coffee. Why don't you go make me coffee? Be a lamb.
Hell no, I don't make coffee.
Well, maybe you could have someone in there who's competent with the coffee maker to make coffee.
I think they left.
Oh, it did get quiet.
Did
I just say that out loud?
Helpless people on subway trains scream, "My
God!"
God!
They are just dropped. They're lobbing around all over the wheel. We're going to set a tripwire up. Speaking of which, my niece, the one that was in the Mustang and in the video, she just learned about that special hotel in Tokyo.
Special hotel?
Steve, you know the one I'm talking about?
The Godzilla one?
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't count.
No, that didn't count because I didn't say it. That's why I didn't say it.
Yeah.
But she is, because her and her husband want to plan to go take a trip to Japan in a couple of years. And they were like, okay, we are so staying there. If you pay extra, you get the one with the claws coming through the roof.
Dale says, what was the untangent supposed to be today?
Talking about mileage, today being the 82nd anniversary of D-Day, we're going to talk about D-Day models. Now,
you didn't bring your cough medicine. That's why that's why you're yawning.
Yeah, certain Blue Oyster Cult song. Yes, we caught the reference.
Is somebody trying to get you to say the G word?
It has to be organic or it doesn't count. But
needs more cowbell. Why spoil a tangent?
But
no, it's more G-Bell.
No tangent goes unwasted on this show.
How was it they made the voice for Godzilla? Was it they dragged a leather glove?
Oh.
They said it? No, said it. They dragged, was it a leather glove with resin on it across an oboe string or something like that and slowed it down to get the sound?
Mm-hmm.
But I've always felt that was one of the first really great cases of true sound engineering. And they both came out in 1954. Two movies that had outstanding sound engineering, sound effects, were Godzilla and War of the Worlds.
Wild Dad's happy.
There
he said it.
His night is completed. Tonight's tangents are basically fractals. What's a fractal?
You know what a fractal is?
I mean, I know when it says do fractals, it breaks things in little pieces.
Kind of like that, yeah.
But another one was, but it was made, I think, a couple of years earlier, was Forbidden Planet. You know, they couldn't give the people, because they use that weird electronic music, they couldn't call them musicians, so they had to say tonalities provided by.
Garfield Smith called it at the 54-minute mark.
We have a winner. My Sunday is complete. The connection, we were talking about trains. Trains, planes, and automobiles.
Speaking of trains, I saw a restored.
Yes, the giant ants and them was another great one. Great sound effect.
On the tour of Ohio. Yeah, they got one out there. Yes. Unfortunately, it doesn't work.
Well, the big boy doesn't work?
No, it's just on a static display now. They do have one. They do have one that works. And they take it out every once in a while on an executive train. It takes forever to get the thing loaded up because they don't have any of the resources.
I just got an ad for DNA sequencing. What on earth? What does anyone need with DNA sequencing who's not a geneticist?
Oh, it is touring. Oh, that must be the one that. Okay, that must be the one that they still have working then. That and the DD40A. I've seen it, the DD40.
Yeah, I used to see that thing out in Little Rock.
The
DDA 40X.
Yes, the DDA 40X. Yes.
Or DD 40X. Anyway.
No, it's a DDA 40X.
Yeah. Basically, two locomotives welded together.
No, not really. They're on the same frame. They just put two GP40 engines and the 8-wheel trucks.
It's a beast, though.
It is. Big Boy's coming through my town Monday. Oh, cool. I would love to see that.
My nephew just sent me some footage of the thing going by when he's out in North Platte.
That would be awesome. That thing is enormous. DNA is great when you need some amino acids in your diet.
What was the idea behind the Big Boy? Was it for the mountains or was it for the flatlands?
It was for the mountains. Union Pacific had to haul a lot of freight up over top of the Rocky Mountains, and they didn't want a whole bunch of steam engines were difficult to double head and triple.
Yeah, because to get them to put out the same power output, it's very
and it takes
nigh impossible.
And it takes it takes three crews, as opposed to one engine that just requires one crew. And then they came out with the DDA 40X. Actually, they first came out with the DD35, which was two GP35 stuck together, and it was a total of let's see, there were five. I think it was about 20,000 horsepower. They would put a regular GP35 on either end of two DD35s, and they would have all this horsepower, and they would all chain them together so one guy could run them. Anyway, they decided there wasn't enough, so they came out with the DD40.
This is all going to be, the engineers are probably going to get replaced by AI. They'll be able to run the train by remote.
Yeah, the DD35 was not the first turbine. That was the Big Blow. That was an experiment, more or less an experiment, because
that was a Flatlander train, wasn't it?
No, they ran that over the Rockies too.
Oh, okay.
The Big Blow had 5,000 horsepower, if I remember.
Yeah, correctly. A lot of racket.
Yeah, essentially a jet engine that's at ground level, putting out all
Apparently,
kinds of
you didn't have to tell anybody when that thing was going by. The whole state knew it.
That's why they called it the Big Blow, because it made a lot of noise. and it ran off of Bunker C, which is essentially
battleship oil,
ship fuel.
Yeah,
because it was so cheap. Because turbines suck up a lot of
burn anything though.
Yeah,
a turbine. That sort of guy, you put enough pressure to burn molasses.
That's essentially what Bunker C was.
Yeah, it was that gooey stuff you see, Jed Clampett, shooting out of the ground. But the steam locomotives though had just every conceivable disadvantage. It's amazing how fast they disappeared once the diesel technology got.
They hung around for a few years because there were some railroad lines that were very invested in steam that they had just bought, and they didn't want to get rid of them just that quickly.
Mm.
And so they hung on to them for a few years. But the 50s was considered pretty much the golden years of the steam, because shortly after that, that's when the diesels really became popular, and they operated on about 1/7 the amount of fuel or energy. So yeah, the diesels were much more efficient.
What always amazes me about the steam engines is that you see this massive thing, you know, this gigantic wheels, the arms, drive arms, and everything. But when you get down there, you realize it's actually this little piston that's making everything happen. All that steam is going to a pair of relatively small pistons that's making all that magic happen.
Two very big pistons. Although the more modern steam engines had a high pressure and a low pressure piston that worked together to be able to recover even more energy. And some of them even had a third set of pistons between the two external ones, so that there were actually 3 pistons up there.
So basically like a triple expansion ship engine.
Like a triple expansion plus the three pistons. Then you got into the articulators that had, like the big boy, that had 2 sets of drivers. They did that so that they could get more horsepower out of the pistons.
I've always felt the triple expansion steam engine is one of the greatest feats of engineering, to extract that much energy out of it and then take what's left over to heat the ship.
Yeah. There wasn't a whole lot of energy left over after triple expansion. It was very efficient.
And I know, and they were really simple, easy to keep running. They never broke down. I mean, they couldn't give you the speed or power of turbines, but still, for the relatively low cost.
Oh, I didn't know that. Big Boy was for climbing the Sherman Hill during World War II. I didn't know that.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Now I'm getting worried. That's the 4th ad in 5 minutes. Oh, they like you. Norfolk and Western wouldn't give them. That's right. That was one of the lines that wouldn't give them up. Probably because they had just purchased them.
Yeah, you imagine how everybody felt when they bought those DC-7s and Connies, and 2 years later, the 707 hits the tarmac, and like, uh-oh.
Yeah, kind of like the same thing. You've invested all this money, and you want to get your return out of it.
Well, I'll tell you, the airplanes with those turbo compound radials, like the DC-7s, they had a relatively short.
And we pivoted right over to aviation.
But of course, I'm waiting for you to turn the lamp on. Squinting. There we go. Ah, squinting. Oh.
It's getting dark in here. That's why I turned the lamp on.
No, darker it gets, the better we look.
That's true, but I look better in the dark.
Don't we all? Oh, yeah, I went to a steam train from Strasbourg to Warsaw.
Is that steam from Steamtown? I've heard they're running excursions out of Steamtown.
They built before cars with fence, yeah. But a lot of the high-end piston airliners had short service lives relatively with primary airlines, because the jets came online in '57, but they still had longer range. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about some of the early jets had to make 2 stops to get from London down to India, mm-hmm. and or Asia. And they said, Christ, the DC-7 can make it 1 hop. It was almost the same amount of time. Yeah, but it's the same amount of time, but wob, 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 wob,
wob. They were loud. Yeah, the old pistons were really loud. I rode on a piston airliner once, and I was like, whoa, this thing is loud.
Of course, they did have soundproofing in them, but still.
Not much.
Yeah. Well, I flew the 1900 to Beechcraft, and it was loud as heck back there because, I mean, we're in headsets, but you did not want to sit in the front row. My God. And, but I still amazes me those turbo compound radials had those 3 turbines that had shafts back into the crankshaft. They delivered an extra 450 horsepower. And, you know, if they had better metallurgy where they didn't keep sucking valves and stuff, it would have been a great engine.
Yeah, well, another technology just overcame it before they were able to take advantage of the more modern technology.
As much as I love old airplanes, you have to remember that the metallurgy just wasn't, you know, what we're used to today. And this goes for cars. Hey, Steve, what kind of mileage could you expect out of a car, you know, brand new car in 48 or 49, what, 40,000 miles?
What's the matter, Wild Dad? Dad, you don't like us talking about trains?
Steve? Steve?
He's asleep. Steve, you
Steve?
still there? No,
The call's the call's still going.
Still
Hello,
there.
Steve.
Did you accidentally mute it?
No,
No, it's not muted.
maybe he went to the bathroom.
He'll come back. Okay.
Well, I heard something go beep earlier, and I thought maybe he'd gotten disconnected, but it was showing the call still going.
Okay.
Although that's flashing. I'm not sure what that means.
All right, Stuart. Don't steam trains have to stop like every 100 miles or so for water?
Yep. That's why you got all these towns dotted across the Midwest. That's why they put the coaling stations.
Yes and no.
Or water stations.
Okay, the unions of the time were very, very strong. They said that, okay, you're working the crews too much, and they put a limit on it that every 100 miles you have to stop and give the crew a rest. And so they just said, okay, fine, we'll just put water and fuel, well, mostly water, every 100 miles so that they could refuel, you know, with water while they're letting the crew rest. And then later on, they figured out, you know, we don't really have to stop. And they would put a trough in between the rails on the track, like hundreds of yards long. And they fill the trough up with water. And then as they came to it, they would prepare this like a chute. And they would hit a certain point and it would knock the chute down and it would fall into the trough. And at the speed they were going, it would force the water up the trough into the tanker, so they didn't even have to slow down to fuel up with water. Except sometimes that thing would fail and it would really it would scald the hell out of the crew. So it was a little dangerous.
Well, you know, you lose a few here, you lose a few there.
Yeah, well, they used to back in the old days before they had train brakes. Every fifth car there was a brakeman. And his job was to turn the handrail, the brake wheel, to slow the car down. And that's why they had those roof walks, so they could walk from one car to the other, turn the brakes on, so that when they were coming into a station, they would stop. Every once in a while, they'd lose one of those guys.
Where did Fred go? I don't know.
Yeah, get another guy.
We'll get another one. The railroads are always hiring. But I know that a lot of the towns that exist in the Midwest and various other places, they're simply because that's where they had to put up the refueling station. And there was also, even on the diesels, you were talking about, they kept changing the size of the fuel tanks on them. You got to lug the extra weight, but some of them didn't have the range. Even though they were good locomotives, they had to stop and fuel with diesel. And that was a big problem. So, yeah,
there was. On the Erie-Lackawanna, a railroad that I'm very familiar with because my grandfather was a blacksmith for the Erie-Lackawanna. They would run the trains from New York all the way out to Chicago. And the problem with the SD45s at the time was that the fuel tank wasn't quite big enough and they had to stop in the middle and refuel. So then somebody got the bright idea, well, why don't we just get a slightly bigger fuel tank so we don't have to stop? So then they bought the SDP 45s, which originally GM made those for hauling passengers, which is why I had the P on it, but they just wanted the bigger fuel tank. So they got a 6,000 gallon fuel tank. The problem was they didn't always have all SDPs in the yard to assign to the train. So they still had to stop to fill up that one engine.
Good move, Marvin.
Yeah, somebody wasn't paying real close attention to that.
Well, hey, Steve, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I was talking to you. We were both talking. We were all, and you weren't answering.
It's hard to hear you. There's about 3 different things that come through at the same time.
Well, we were asking, I was talking about the metallurgy of the 40s and 50s, that people didn't realize that these airplanes, even though they had these incredible compound radials, the metallurgy just wasn't really up to the task. But back then, 1950s metallurgy and everything. And I was thinking, if you bought a brand new car in 1949, what was it good for? 40,000 miles?
If you were that lucky and you had to do a lot of work in between.
And I mean, the vehicles of the 40s and 50s, or even 60s, I think are aesthetically works of modern art. But mechanically they were. I mean, if you could make the same car with modern material, you'd have a much better vehicle.
H&X says Steve ain't getting a word in edgewise anyway.
True.
Okay, Steve, you have the con. We're going to let you talk. I'm going to put the phone by the mic. Where's your microphone?
It's up there. It's in,
It's
the,
up there.
in the
I'm
camera.
going to
Yeah, I mean, the cars in the late 40s to early 60s were really bad. I mean, you had to tune them up a lot. You had to adjust the valves. You had to replace parts. Like if you had 45,000 miles, time to get rid of it.
What year did cars start becoming, kind of what we think of today as relatively maintenance free? You just did your oil change every 3,000 miles, and generally speaking, you didn't have any trouble before 50 or 60,000 miles.
Yeah.
I mean,
after the Japanese came to America.
Yeah, that makes sense. When we had to make them better. Yeah, when Toyota made the Camry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me of a joke somebody said. He was talking about sidearms. He goes, my department issues everybody the Glock. It's this perfectly dependable but terribly ugly vehicle. It is the guns with a Toyota Corolla is the cars. It's got no spirit, but it always works.
That's right. Very simple mechanism.
And you see, that's what the big old Smith revolvers with their ramp front sights had. They had style. You pulled one of those out and you said, I'm packing and I've got style. You pull out a Glock, it's just like, I mean business, but I'm ugly.
It still hurts.
Yeah. But
and the Honda Accord.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had to up our game. Cars had to last a little bit longer than 50,000 miles.
I remember when the Japanese cars hit the market, the first couple of years they weren't so great, but once they got their game together, and I remember people who had them talking about, especially the Subarus. I remember they were really known for lasting a long time. And people were ashamed to be seen driving them, but they were affordable. They lasted forever. And they were just kind of like, you know what? Don't care.
Stuart Gregory says, I have a Luger.
There you go. You see now, Luger, there's a gun that's got style,
That's
man.
right. Lots of style.
You watch a movie, somebody pulls out a Luger, right around, that's the bad guy. He's carrying a Luger.
Seriously, though, cars started becoming maintenance free when electronic fuel injection came online in large numbers.
Yeah.
You didn't have
Vampire flow. Actually, there are quite a few vampires in private hands now. You can walk up to one; they're really small.
What are you talking about?
He went to jets. He was talking about a de Havilland Vampire, the little early British jet. So one just flew over his house. I've seen them like you walk up to it, you're looking down in the cockpit. They're not a big airplane. They're an egg with wings and an engine. Walther PPK. That was my backup gun when I was a cop. Was a PPK S.
That's the one to carry to black tie events.
Yeah, absolutely. Although Bond originally had a Beretta.
Why'd he go to a PPK?
Because his Beretta jammed. And they took it away from him.
Yes, but it jammed, and that's why they made him get the PPK.
Yep. And that, by the way, was based on a real event involving Princess Margaret. Are you familiar with that?
No.
Princess Margaret was going out.
Tell us the story.
She was going out about town, to have and she had to have a security guard with her. So he had to go to the arms room. And actually, I think he did draw a PPK. And some nut job who got his hands on a revolver jumped in the car and said, come in. Well, her bodyguard jumped up, pulled the PPK out, and the thing jammed on him. And so he was able to, he hopped in the car with Princess Margaret and says, I want you to come with me. And her responses, I remember, was something along the lines of, no, certainly not. And they wound up calming the guy down and arresting him, but he was a mental case. But he did get his hands on a real gun in the UK.
Kurt G says, back in my day in my hometown of Flint, Michigan, it could be dangerous to drive a foreign car. Oh, yes.
Yeah. You're right. 25s have no stopping power, but Bond, you have to remember the original Bond, his gun was like an emergency backup. It was going to be used up close and personal, and he was an excellent shot. In fact, as I recall, he removed the grips from his Beretta and wrapped tape around it so it lay flatter.
Somebody's keeping track of your tangents. Trains, pistols, jets, pistols.
Oh, here we go.
Royal
Fleming
family.
switched James Bond signature weapon with 25 Beretta to what?
I was in the middle of reading something.
Then that's why I interrupted, because I had something to read. Go ahead, finish.
I'm done now.
Okay. See, that's why did you stop me?
Because you weren't quite done. I wasn't
Anyway,
quite done.
it was
real close to
from
finishing.
firearms expert Jeffrey. How do you say it? Boothroyd? Anyway, okay. A friend of mine has one of those 45 Glocks, and I think if you don't know a lot about guns and you want a man-stopping sidearm, a 45 Glock is probably the best general purpose thing. It's virtually impervious to jams. It's big enough and meaty enough. It doesn't buck too much, and it's easy to shoot. And it's Glock simple. Q's name is Major Boothroyd in homage to Jeffrey. Oh, that's cool.
England has such a knife problem that there's a movement to ban pointed steak knives. Yeah, that's going to go over real big.
Well, it's a situation. We're not going to get into that. That's
Are they going to ban pressure cookers too?
Don't kid yourself. That was actually talked about. And making a sign a permit to get lead pipe with the end cap screw. Oh, this. I'm like, you guys do understand a 3D printing, and now they want to ban certain files for 3D printing. I'm like, you guys remind me of in Firefly Serenity, of the Alliance trying to ban it. It's like you can't stop the signal now.
Knife control was pointless.
Touche.
That's pretty good. One of the
I'm sure they already have banned crossbows in a lot of places.
One of the major 3D printer, Bamboo. What people don't know is that when you load a file that you want it to print, it goes to the it goes out to Bamboo's server, and they check the file first before they allow you to print it.
Oh, on that note, directly related to that, there is actually, I know it's in California, but I think some other places look at it. There's actually legislation pending that all 3D printers in California will have to have every file run through them, sent to the government for approval, basically to make sure they're not on a void list. And ones that don't do that, the older units that don't do that, will be banned. They'll have to be destroyed or moved out of state. I'm not joking. I mean, this hasn't become law yet, but it's
That surprised me.
You can't. Crazy. And now there's a big rush for the old 3D printers. I'm like, guys, you do understand that 3D printer, all it's going to happen is somebody's going to start making 3D printers that are completely self-contained.
They already do. And you can rewire the Bamboo if you know what you're doing, so that it doesn't do that. But then Bamboo gets all pissed out, bent out of shape because you're not communicating with them anymore.
Oh,
they say, you can't use our printer.
Said, no. Is my little Bamboo upset? Oh, my little Bamboo.
I bought that printer.
Well, that's another argument, talking about only letting people lease printers, not actually buy. It's about control. You have people who think that they should be in charge, and do you know how many politicians are classified as sociopaths?
What's that?
Apparently, the kind of people who want to get into politics, it is just rife with them. Depending on whose number, 60, 70%. And it wouldn't shock me. Think about it. What is a way a person with no marketable skills can get money and power, get elected?
Oh, wow.
Prostitution.
New Jersey already made possession of a gun, files a 4th degree. See? You people aren't. What happens? Oh, you know what? No, I don't have the files on a server down in Florida. We just, when it comes in, but it's not here. And the average cop, he's got an illegal file on his computer. I can just see the average patrolman. Huh?
Yeah.
He's got a what?
Super PCL says, Ken says, if you know what you're doing,
I'm going to have you do it. Tell me about it. Yeah, we got a lot of folks in California here that's and the thing is that, and this is what people don't, it's sad because I spent a fair amount of time in California, and contrary to the myth, California has a very large group of perfectly normal, conservative, just regular people but they've got just enough oddballs to
It's
tip the
called
balance.
Orange County.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been working on the Terrell at all? The Tyrion?
I was hoping you'd bring that up. I actually haven't had a chance to do much to it, but if you want, you can show them.
I gave Ken that Tamiya
yeah.
Tyrion 5 that was gifted to me, and he's turning it into a motorized tank.
I was trying to find a motor that would fit in there well, but I'm going to have to modify the frame. I got 2 sets of motors in there. They're all Tamiya motors, or Tamiya. This is the dual one for tanks, and then this is individual motors that were designed for hooking up to whatever kind of vehicles you wanted. But I thought, they might fit. So that's why I have 2 sets of motors in there right now.
You gonna make it turn the turret?
That is a whole lot harder than
It absolutely is. Your big enemy on that's friction.
Well, the thing is, the way they do it in the bigger tanks, the 112 tanks, is they have just great big old brown gear
Mhm.
that goes on the bottom of the turret, and then you have a servo that's got a gear on it, and the servo just turns the gear around and turns. And then raising and lowering the turret is a different mechanism. Not the turret, the gun. What, Steve?
I think he was talking to his wife.
Steve? You there?
Didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the 3D printing tanks
Didn't
could
say
happen.
anything.
You're not saying anything?
California knows how to cheat enough. Is
No.
meet those with good. Yeah. You know, not, and I don't want to rail on because I love California. But California 50 years ago, it was the Golden State.
Mhm.
And half your aviation was there, a great deal of your research and development, outstanding universities. And
Super PZL. Okay. Just buying an old Tamiya motorized tank. That takes all the fun out of it.
yeah, he wants to do it himself. That's exactly his.
That's why I got a tank from Max. It wasn't designed to be motorized.
I had one. I was like, yeah, no, I want that. And I'm like, okay, you
Right.
go for it. And Ken can do it. I've seen when he did the P-38 and everything else. He actually, when it comes to making, I just thought I should get a Godzilla and make a casting so I can get like a rubber skin and have you make the next. So I could have my RC Godzilla.
The animatronics.
Yeah, that'd be fun. But I wanted to get that. Is it Murray or Morawi? That $800, 6-channel Godzilla remote control Godzilla. They make the Biollante one. They make the original. And I was like, man, if I had that, I'd be out there in my RC tanks all day long just making Godzilla movies, And I'd be cheving Estes rockets into 148 scale jets and have them go flying by, and which I've done before. There's a hobby out there about putting rocket motors in scale model airplanes, and there's a guy in Jacksonville. He has a big Vulcan. He jams like like an F engine in it. That thing goes streaking up straight up, and then he flies it as an RC glider on the way back down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen people do that where they'll shoot a rocket up and then just glide it back down, radio control.
That is the definition of because I can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
it's fun to do things that nobody else has done.
just go back to they turning cap guns into zip guns. Yeah. And back in the day, Saturday Night Specials, what the guy said, what this country needs is a good 5-cent cigar and a good $10 revolver.
Solve some problems.
And
add drugs and
neighbors would love that. Yeah. Adds drugs and dieting. That one must have been aimed at me.
By the way, I saw a YouTube video of the kit model show in Japan, and it ended with a model of a metal-clad Godzilla. Spectacular. Oh,
Man, the Japanese, they just never stop creating that kind of stuff.
The first color television.
Potato gun. I haven't built a potato gun, but I have fired them. And my younger brother actually made a rocket launcher with a working rocket, basically a bazooka. And then when he was all done, I was like, you realize we could get rid of all this and just use a PVC tube and do the same thing.
My youngest brother discovered shooting tennis balls instead of potatoes.
Well, we usually fire tennis balls.
Yeah, the tennis balls were brilliant. They would go like.
No, they and they're yellow, so you can track them.
And if you do it like in the evening, and the really pretty flame shoots out the back.
And
And you got to be careful you don't put too much lighter fluid in it.
that just gave me a really great bad idea.
Ooh.
I need to get like 3 F104s at about 1/48 scale, put a C60 in each one of them, get some tubes, get 3 tubes side by side, load them in there, then make like a 1/48 scale terrain around it,
Mm-hmm.
and then just put the camera on it and just launch them. So you can my own homemade Zell launcher. Or for that matter, just get a model truck and just right off the Zell launcher.
With rockets launching M80s. Fun
Oh
stuff.
yeah, oh yeah,
Miniature
yeah.
bottle rockets, or excuse me, big bottle rockets, or M80s on whatever. Used to launch tennis balls from the can. Oh yeah, that's what we did.
Now,
Yeah,
if you're
that was
trying to do
fun.
it, if you're trying to do it movie style, like for video, and you don't want the rocket to tumble or whatever, or the airplane to tumble, what you do is you do it Lidecker style. You know, you cut a little hole in the nose. I mean, well, you might have to put a tube under the wing or something. You might need 2 of them.
To do what?
But you have an actual Estes model rocket engine.
Mhm.
Push it, but it's going down a pair of transparent wires, so it's got some guidance. So in other words, it doesn't come out and flip around; it flies in a straight line.
Yeah.
And I've done that kind of stuff where it looks really good on camera.
Bottle rockets from a moving car at 30 miles an hour.
Been there, done that. Firing them off the back of our flatbed truck as we drive around. You know, shoo, 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 shoo.
Had a wrist rocket. That thing was lethal.
You know, foreigners look at us and go,
yeah.
no wonder nobody's ever conquered that country. You got 300 million crazy ass gun monkeys. Yeah.
Well, who was it? I don't know, the Japanese guy. I can't remember his name right now. You'll know what it is. He said, yeah, in America, there's a gun behind every blade of grass.
Oh, that was that
Yamato.
well, yeah, he was told that, I believe it was, by an intelligence media. If we invade, there'll be a gun behind every blade of grass. And
got that right.
But they never wanted to. They never wanted to conquer the United States. They wanted to knock us out of the war so they could have the Pacific to themselves. That was what that was about. They never really seriously. You know, and D-Day is a perfect example of this. Looping back to our raison d'etre for the night.
Oh, we just circled right back around on it.
Yeah, there we go. And Fran, you can chime in on this. One of the most difficult things for any military to do is force projection in mass, like foreign country invasion, as the Russians are learning. One of the reasons the British were so successful 300 years ago was, and to an extent the French, they had mastered the logistics of moving large volumes of highly trained troops around the globe with the support network necessary to keep them going.
JM says, Andy Chandler, whoa. Are you trying to detangent the tangents?
But
Super PCL says, blame Max.
But
Okay.
there is no better example of that than the Normandy invasion. Every Dodge truck, every Sherman tank, every Willis Jeep, every rifle, every bullet, every pair of boots and GI socks that hit that beach, and the fuel that drove them, the Liberty ships, all of that started in factories in the United States. Okay. And we were able to get all that crap across the ocean against U-boats and the weather and everything else. And you look at when you actually look at the number of soldiers on the battlefield, lobbing artillery rounds, driving tanks, and shooting rifles, and then you look at the logistics chain behind them, and it goes like this. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And it all starts with somebody with a bulldozer digging some ore out of the ground, you know, and
we had the resources to be able to do it, to start it.
But there's a myth about the mighty American arsenal of democracy that gets overlooked. And it's being relearned by the Ukrainians and even the Russians today with the whole thing with the drones. And that is when our generals started making contracts for military vehicles, they were adamant. These are the 8 bolts that the American auto industry uses. That's all you get to use. No specialty equipment. Commonality, coming out. And they made nuts and bolts and rivets by the hundreds of millions. That's why the half-track has slab plate armor, and so do a lot of vehicles. It was quicker, you know, it was good enough. You look at the welds on a Sherman tank, they're not works of art, but they work. And this is the problem, in my humble opinion, we have today is that
You have
we
a
have
humble
these.
opinion?
Well, that's a nice way of saying I don't know what I'm talking about, but it won't slow me down. One of the problems we have today is our weapons are amazingly capable and exotic. They're also highly specialized and very expensive, and we don't have the ability to make them in the kind of mass we used to. I forget what the numbers are, but the Ukrainians are cranking drones, and the Russians are too. And the Ukrainians, the Ukrainians, and the Russians are cranking drones off about as fast as we can crank out artillery rounds. It is amazing. And they develop techniques that we don't even know how they're doing it. And the Israelis are getting up with them and learning how. And I got a feeling we're going to wind up buying that tech from the Israelis.
I think they already put in an order for battlefield drones. I think they're basing it off of the Iranian ones. No, off the Ukrainian ones. That's right. They're actually buying the technology from the Ukrainians.
And another thing, I don't know if you guys are familiar. I've talked about him before. I think this, the teenage billionaire Palmer Luckey, who's designing weapons, and he's kind of the Elon Musk of the weapons industry. He's probably the real Tony Stark, but he's come up with a reusable drone, kinetic drone, kamikaze kinetic drone that's reusable. And he brought,
Kamikaze reusable?
Yes, it is a kinetic kamikaze drone killer that is reusable.
Oh, drone killer.
Yeah, it's a drone killer.
Oh, okay.
But he said the problem we have is we have these very, he calls them the elegant systems, and they are. You look at THAAD and Patriot. Oh, the systems are just magnificent. Even Hawk, which still some countries use the Hawk missiles today. That I remember pilots talking about being terrified of that system because it was a good low alt. I mean, you couldn't hide from it. Hawks were really, and they were area weapons. They didn't have to get a direct hit. They just get close. That little antenna leaned over when it sensed your airplane. You carried a big warhead. Anyway, point I'm driving at is that they're still very expensive. And he says this stuff has got to be cheap. And because we can only make so many when they're cheap, it's got to be reusable. And he came up with this 6-foot-tall drone that launches, flies, sees a target. Just it can deliver a different kind of payload. It can drop a burst payload. It can drop a fragmentation payload. It can drop a net, or it can just physically, it's armor plated. It can physically slam through the thing and then turn around and come home. And he goes, and even if it fires off its kinetic warhead and goes boom, the body and the engine come back. And like so, basically, what you have is an unmanned interceptor. And it's only 6 feet tall. And he goes, these we can make by the hundreds of thousands.
And we kind of had the basic technology back during the Vietnam War, but the Air Force absolutely adamantly was against it because a man had to fly the plane.
What are the odds that an organization made up of pilots would have a problem with unmanned aircraft?
You're scaring people, Max.
Good. Glad to know I haven't lost my touch.
Yeah, you're still there.
And that's like one of the problems with the you know how I love the Army rocket weapons. Oh, the Honest John and all those. That never gets old.
You built one.
Yeah. Well, the thing is though, and it was a $28,000, about a $350,000 rocket. The Honest John was not the kind of weapon you use. They made it nuclear capable, so it was the kind of weapon you could threaten to use. Okay. And having those things all over the place, and the enemy had their version of it, it gives the other guy pause. Hey, they got 8,000 of those things, or 7,000 of them. Half of them are in Europe, and a third of them are pointed at the Foley Gap. Guess where we're not going to go?
Yeah, that'd be stupid.
Yeah, but you don't know if they have nukes, and you don't know that they don't.
Yeah.
The operative word, nuclear capable.
Right. You should look at the camera instead of me.
Yeah. Sure. Sorry, old habit. You look at the person you're talking to. But
right. Well, you do like what they do on TV when they're talking to each other. They just look at the camera.
Well, the other thing is that I think one reason I have such a love affair with the Honest John is because it was so bloody simple. You need a 5-ton truck, a launcher rail, and a rocket, and it's just a big Estes rocket, and off she goes. Okay, now what do? Run away before they can shoot back. Run away. And
it was honest.
Well, you think about it. You got a dozen guys in a pair of trucks, and there's okay, pull up over here. This is a good place right here on the map. Okay, point it over there. Get the wind. Turn around. Let's run away.
Yeah, because they developed systems to be able to shoot back at where the
Yeah, they had counter battery systems, but you could have that truck, you know, on its way back probably by the time that thing hit its target.
Mhm.
And
yeah, I couldn't launch a counterattack until it figured out where it came.
not to mention, you could also reload it and shoot again, reload and shoot again, and you usually have more than one truck, so you could be lobbing, you know. But tube artillery has a big advantage; it can shoot faster, you know, and everything. But the setup time's not any quicker.
Steve, what's the noise?
What's that clicking noise, Steve? Move away from the microphone.
Yeah, back it up, Steve. maybe he's feeling lonely because he doesn't have. We're not talking to him.
Steve?
Yes.
Okay, just make sure you're there. Well, anyway, happy 82nd birthday of the Normandy invasion. Happy to tell you, I don't want to be a spoiler, but we won.
Happy?
And you're almost as old as the invaders.
Ooh.
Gee, thanks, Matt. Thanks, Steve. Thanks.
You're Normandy minus 11.
No problem, Ken. What we're here for.
I think
Hey, you're Normandy minus 8. So
Yeah, I think you're closer to Normandy than I am.
That's true, but I have the wrong date.
So, Steve, what's going on with Atlantis and the boys?
Park Zoom Bang.
They just shipped the Rich Jarasco Duster 1/16 scale funny car, which was the old Ed McCullough Revolution kit.
Are they not going to take your advice on how to make 100 kits with 5 or 6 molds?
That's to be discussed, but we'll just table that for now.
Mm.
But
Monica called me. The X17 showed up today.
Oh, good. Okay. And they're going to be releasing the Tom Daniel fire truck
Okay.
this week. And they got a lot of new stuff coming up in the next couple of months. So
Oh.
see what happens.
I get their little emails and stuff. It's always nice to see those. You know, they're keeping busy, keeping the catalog of variety.
Yeah, well, it's all the stuff that they are showing on Instagram and Facebook is in the catalog. It's just now that they're getting around to releasing them, and then they put the videos up. Which is always nice when they actually do release the stuff.
Coup de Kill, I think he's talking about the Point de Ho or Point de Hoc cliff they had to climb, like 84 feet or something. So Rudder Tower is named after the commander. Well, Tonal cover ads showing that. Well, how does the cover for a convertible get the name Tonil or Tonal or whatever it is?
That's a Steve question.
Steve? Steve?
Yeah. Yes.
How does that thing that covers the convertible's top, how does it get the name Tonil or Tonal, whatever you call it? Tonal.
Tonneau cover?
Yeah, tonneau cover.
Yeah. Snaps. There's little snap buttons. Yeah.
Oh.
There's little snaps. Oh,
All right.
and around the back quarter panel and the trunk, there's little studs.
I just never knew where the name Tonal came from.
Yeah. And then the top itself, or the cover itself, has the other part of the snap in, and you just snap it all into the button.
Seems like a lot of. My Mustang doesn't have that because when the top
No,
closes.
because your top goes right into the compartment behind the seat.
Right.
And they came out with that so they didn't have to come out with the covers anymore, because everybody would lose them. They'd rip them. They wouldn't put them on. It's like the heck with it.
Mm-hmm.
French for barrel.
Oh, okay. I it sounded like a French word.
That was made up.
Clicking this is him saying trimming his fingernails. So I got the Fran and I were talking about the wooden Cleveland guys. I had the wrong ship. I'm sorry, the Chicago. I was telling everybody that the cruiser I was making was USS Chicago that went down to 43. This kit model is of the Chicago that replaced it in 44. So now I got to go do a whole new bio on the ship that I'm building. And working with this wood kit is quite the challenge. I mean, I'm enjoying it, but you got to be in the mood because it is a ton of sanding. But when he's, you know, like, and then you start to see it take shape. Like, oh, look at that, pretty. I did that.
Bought a tweezers set from Harbor Freight. That explains it.
For the price of one tweezer, yeah. Unfortunately, any specialty shop, the prices are outrageous. And to be honest, Harbor Freight's got so much stuff that, you know, that's where I get all my clamps and everything.
Yeah, but it all comes from China.
Harbor Freight comes from China.
And cheaply made.
Yeah, but I mean, these are clamps for a model. I'm not doing heart surgery, so.
Sluggo wants to know how old I am.
You will be.
Yes.
Can we tell him?
Sure, go ahead.
71. Tomorrow. He looks like he's 50. It's just not fair.
I look great.
When I lose weight, I start looking older because everything shrivels up and the wrinkles show.
Is that your excuse?
Chicago, bang, bang, stripes. Yeah.
I'm a pup at 60.
My name is Bill Winger, and you are my prisoner. Chicago, bang, bang.
Yeah, 68's in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, Garfield's going to be 76 tomorrow.
So far, I can't even see it anymore. Ken, I'll be 76 tomorrow. You are young. Hey, glad to hear you're still kicking.
So yeah, something in Steve's and keeps making noise.
Well, both of my parents are still alive, so I figure I got at least.
Oh, tonneau is the rear seat of a carriage in French. That's where it comes from.
You interrupted me again.
Sorry, finally someone answered the question. Okay, go ahead. You were saying from the top.
I said both of my parents are still alive, so
yeah.
I figure I got at least another 20
He's going into his 90s, I guarantee. He's got a quarter century left. But modern medicine, I'm thinking he'll make 130.
I'm 73 on Friday, and I could pass for 80.
I've told everybody, and I say it again, given my abuse of the dinner table, if I make it to 80 years of age, I'm going to church, look up the crucifix, clasp my hands, grin, and go, good one. I did not see that coming. What does a friend of my dad's used to say? He goes, if I know I was going to live this long, I'd have taken better care of myself.
I always did. It's working out.
Doesn't smoke, doesn't drink. God, he's boring. So where does Landau top come from? I don't know, but it sounds French.
I used to work with this one guy at one time. He called me the world's most interesting man because of all the interesting hobbies that I have.
In a month, you will be 11 years older, Ken. I don't get it.
I'm not sure I understand that one either.
Yeah, you're going to have to extemporate. I think we're a little.
Yeah, you're going to have to explain that one.
But maybe he knows something about the twisting of time.
Maybe don't. Maybe.
Time is a slinky. It's more like spaghetti.
So do you drink Dos Equis? No, that stuff is nasty.
I love Dos Equis. But Ken doesn't drink. I mean, seriously, he does not consume alcohol or caffeine.
No.
Looking for the sixes.
No caffeine. Never.
They don't do that on his home planet.
I had French math.
French maid or French math? If you had a French math, I don't care. If you had a French maid, tell us about it in an email.
Joke. How the 60-year-old got the hot young blonde to marry him. I told her I was 80.
Touche. They had an episode of, it was Outer Limits or Twilight Zone about that, where the old guy marries the younger woman and he gives her a pearl every year, and she's got a boyfriend on the side that's waiting for the old man to die, but he lives to be like 95.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Just to spite him. Ad for Comfort Stretch Pants. Okay, that one was meant for me.
30 years off booze as of last month for this kid. Good for you.
I don't know whether to say congratulations or condolences. I just,
Oh, Max.
What?
That was bad.
Too soon?
It's
30 years.
Not condolences. He's achieved something. French math. In 1 month he will be okay. Be 11 months older. Still haven't figured that one out.
Everybody worries about the addictive properties of tobacco and nicotine and alcohol, but no one ever complains about the addictive property of eclairs. Just saying.
Who has an addiction to eclairs?
Have we met?
I thought that was Boston cream pie.
Same thing. One's round, one's long. One's got custard, one's got cream. I mean,
Oh, Super PZL has been waiting very patiently. What about the boat story that Max promised?
all right, but remember, guys, you asked for it. Okay, Ken.
Well, one guy asked for it.
That's you guys. That's like when I say people ask me about this, that means one person in passing mentioned it. Oh, that's an excuse.
Yeah, well, maybe some of the others.
Ken had to do some electricity stuff today on the boat because the bilge pump stopped bilging.
You just told the story.
That's the compressed version. That's how you tell a story.
That's the compressed version. Yeah, the bilge pump sensor stopped working and the bilge filled up quite a bit. Fortunately, there's a manual switch that you can turn it on, and that all worked fine. But there was several corroded connections in the lines that made the switch work that had gone bad, so I had to redo it all. And that was fun.
Ken's becoming a qualified boat mechanic.
I'm getting that boat really well. I also we took the boat out.
You have to be when you have a boat.
Mm.
If you don't want to spend a fortune having somebody fix it for you, yeah. We took the boat out for a couple of days this week. We were going to go for several days, but the weather was not cooperating. But anyway, so we anchored overnight in the Fort Pierce Inlet, and I raised the anchor the next morning and end up jamming the anchor in the end of the bow roller and popped the breaker. So the anchor.
He's talking just like a real sailor. Bow rollers and anchors and
yeah. Anyway, so
jibs and sprockets and bilges.
There's no sprockets.
Spacely sprockets.
So the anchor's sticking straight out of the bow of the boat. So we're going down the intercoastal coming back, and we pass a boat, and they're all pointing at the front of the bow going, hey, yeah, I know. Don't need to hear about it again. So, but I get back and I managed to unjam it, but the windlass, which is the thing that pulls the anchor up, is not working. So I popped the breaker someplace. I think I know where it's at, but I haven't quite fixed that yet.
So that's why you want me to go on the boat so I can weigh the anchor for you. Congratulations, John Ashley. I'm glad you quit then, because that's I make jest, but for people who have, are going down that path, quitting and staying quit is very, very, very important.
I must be just on the periphery, only splitting your
So Ken,
what?
Don't you just love it when you're out cruising and other people are pointing at you and yelling at you?
You're going the wrong way. I don't know which way we're going.
Oh, by the way, I took the old boat name off, but I haven't put the new one back on yet. Apparently,
Maybe that's a wise thing. You don't want them to know who you are.
Yeah.
Well, apparently there is a tradition of a boat denaming ceremony that you have to perform, and you have to make sure that all references to the old boat name are gone off the boat before you rename it something else. Apparently Poseidon gets really confused and gets ticked off and whatever. So you have to use good champagne. You can't use the cheap stuff. You have to use good champagne. You have to give some to Poseidon. You have to give some to the Four Winds. They all get their part. And if there's anything left over, you get a sip. And then you can tell Poseidon, this is the new name. Be nice to my boat. Please don't sink me. And everybody then is happy.
You're going to name it, what was it, Deep Thought?
Deep Thought is going to be the name of the boat, yes.
I have a little concern about a boat named Deep Anything, just,
This is like going to Catholic school for confession.
Yeah! Yeah, this is where we come to purge our demons.
Well, in case somebody out there doesn't know, the reason the name of the boat is Deep Thought is many years ago.
Candy, yeah.
Many years ago, I met a guy who had bought a boat, and he called it Conference. That way, if his wife calls and somebody says, hey, she can say he's in conference. Oh, hey, that's kind of cool. And I thought about it for a little while, and I said, how about Deep Thought? That would be a cool name for a boat. Call it Deep Thought. And this was 20 years ago, something like that. So I've kept that all this time. So when somebody calls my wife, say, "Hey, where's Ken?" He's
In deep thought. Does that mean I need to call my boat the refrigerator?
you're in the refrigerator?
And where's Mike? He's in the refrigerator.
Or the bar.
Or in the Tarbus. Call them both Tarbus.
Tarbus 3.
Tarbus 3. Yeah. There you go. Deep thought makes me think of it. That's where, okay. Deep thought is also the name of the computer in
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe. Galaxy.
That gave them the answer to what is the meaning of life, universe, and everything.
42.
The answer is 42. And the name of the computer that gave them that answer is Deep Thought. And I thought, how apropos, me being a programmer and naming my boat after a computer. Deep Thought. How do I fix this? Deep Thought from all the Max's men. Coolest boat name. Stugatz. I don't know. Forget that one.
Stuke.
Deep Thought makes. Oh yeah. Okay.
USS work, South Dakota Memorial needs electrical work. Well, we got the man for the job.
Wasn't that Linda Lace's? No,
that was Steve Turner.
That was.
We all know nobody say it was a Family Channel.
Yeah, I know. This one guy that I sailed with, when I told him I was going to name my boat Deep Thought, and he said, "Oh, you should name it Deep."
Yeah.
No. Doesn't. Of course, the name of his boat was Lickety Split.
There you go. Another family named boat.
Oh, God.
I'm not kidding. That's what he named his boat.
My wife once asked me, when do men grow up? And I was like, huh?
Never.
What?
We grow up? No, our toys just get more expensive.
There's a date for that?
That was supposed to be a thing?
This is a family channel.
That's right.
We're keeping it
clean. Keeping it. Yes. Yeah, so I promised not to name my boat Boobzuka.
Lickety Split, the speed limit on Highway 60.
And now they're off and running.
Oh, now we're getting all kinds of good
and
comments.
We're back. Well, you know, we all just sit here to make wisecracks and hang out and have a good time. I mean, that's what this is all about.
We're just about to pull the channel right now.
I saw a sailboat here with an okay state theme named Slowpoke. Yep. Okay.
I'd name my boat Lasagna. Then I'd always want to be with it.
Okay, now serious. What if you got a boat? What would you seriously name it?
What would I name my boat?
Seriously.
Sailboat or motorboat?
Sailboat.
I would Wind Rider.
Come up with something original.
That's not original?
No.
Blowhard.
Now that works.
That works. Blowhard.
What about you, Steve? I know you'd never buy one, but if you ever did buy a sailboat, what would you name it?
Stay afloat.
Stay afloat.
Money Pit.
Or you could call it BOAT, with dots between it.
I was thinking, because the sails puff out, something like Puff the Magic Dragon, and that led to something else like Stop. Just don't go down that path.
Celebrating says Max would never run out of wind. Oh, sinking
feeling. I'm not putting sinking in the name of the boat.
No, that's not a good one. Star Chaser. I think there's boats already named. I know there's boats named Starship. I've seen lots of those. Highway number 6.
Here's a double tautology. Just call it Floater.
I would name a boat Poseidon, but have the name upside down on the stern.
Oh, Slew Trooper. That's not bad.
Sunday Money. Best boat name for
John Ash, I'm glad to do it, man. I'm glad you guys enjoy coming out and doing this because it's a hoot to do it. And before we sign off for the night, because we're getting near we still got a few minutes left, but I do like to take a moment to think about the people, Normandy and all the other D-Days that took place. And, we get to do this cool stuff because a lot of people made a lot of sacrifices. And I just always try to be, I didn't mean it, Monica. And a learning.
Max is my aviation teacher.
Come on, you can do better than that. But
Probably not. You know just about everything about aviation.
okay, when a pilot retires, he gets grounded, but a boat would be on the water. Water pilot? No, water pilot.
Run
No,
aground?
that doesn't make it sense. No.
What'd you say, Steve?
Run aground?
Run
Splashdown. I like that. But
Run aground.
aground.
yeah, I'm not putting any disaster names in the name of the boat.
Steve, you're supposed to like the boat,
Yeah. How
not think of ways to get rid of it.
about bilge pump?
Bilge pump?
Vision.
Lost at sea. Yeah, I could just see somebody coming over the radio saying, calling the bridge saying,
I
"This
know
is lost.
something.
This is lost at sea. Can you open the bridge?"
Did you ever learn to program in C, the language?
Yeah.
It could be C-worthy. Seaworthy.
How about Hey Gilligan?
Skipper.
Or
Nope, you just gave me the name, Steve.
the minnow.
Ginger or Marianne? That's it, Ginger or Marianne. Yeah, like Monica would, or let me name the boat that.
The Mayday, dry docked, C-57.
Oh, I like the C-57, yeah.
3-hour tour. Yeah, we know about the 3-hour tour. Why not both?
And you name your boat, why not both? And people just, what does that mean? No, nothing.
Holy Diver. Some of these are pretty good. How about we did bilge pump. Sandbar. How about the boat name on binary? Yeah. That's
Will it float?
too long.
I could name it Eclair.
How about in hex? Instead of binary, put it in hex. Godzilla snack. Call it the Tangent Max. Then you can be the captain of. Oh, I'll be right back. Keep the names coming.
Okay.
I want to show you. I'll be right back.
Shoestring Enterprise.
I have something I want to show the guys. Don't get a big kick out.
Starship Grouper. How about that?
That's good.
Minecraft, yeah. Kids College Fund. Now there's a good one. What kind of kaiju name for them?
How about Nothing Left, dear?
My retirement.
My son-in-law gave me this for Christmas last year.
Now they are going to call you the skipper.
It was hilarious. I don't dare wear it on the boat. I get laughed out of the marina.
Oh, there you go, spinach eater. Popeye reference.
But I thought it was funny.
Oh, there you go. Name a boat Tangent. That way you can say you're off on a tangent.
Oh,
There you go.
Oh, I
now
like
you're
that.
getting there.
I like that one. Maybe I'll. But you know what I named the dinghy?
Bad prenup. Now you only did that. You only name it that if you lose the boat.
You know what we called the dinghy? Don't panic.
Don't panic. There you go. You name your boat Keep Calm, and the dinghy lifeboat Don't Panic. That could be your code. Don't panic. I'm in the boat, dead. Now the son-in-law's back in the will. My kid's inheritance. There you go.
I've seen bumper stickers saying we are spending our kids' inheritance. Yeah, it's easy to grin when your ships come in.
Yeah, a little long, but I like it.
How about Hey Kids? Na 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 na.
The Somali pilot. Not a good idea.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that in the name. Ship happens. I think
Exactly.
that one's been used.
Exactly, Don Lancer. That's exactly where Don't Panic came from. Actually, my son-in-law came up with that one when we told him what we wanted the name of the boat.
Let's see.
Now an ad for baby furniture. I wonder what that means at 70. Everything's still working, I assume. And you got the stock market tax deduction. No, they're not. Well, actually, you'd be surprised. Boats are considered vacation homes, and you can write off the interest that you pay off on a vacation home.
That's interesting.
Because it needs a bathroom, got that. Need a place to sleep, got that. Need a place to make food, got that. And you got those three things, and you essentially got a vacation home. So yeah, we write up.
And then Max Gerald.
So yeah, you can write off the interest you pay off on the boat. Maxcraft. I think somebody already has that one.
Maybe I would just name it Maximus Decimus Meridius.
Not up here in Canada. Oh, sorry about you guys. Sorry about that, Wild Dad. The boat who wouldn't float.
Oh.
How about I'm broke now?
Since we normally do this on Zoom, I could name it Legion of Zoom.
Legion of Zoom. Ooh, there you
go.
Camping stove and a camping toilet and a canoe.
I don't think
no, you have to be able to sleep on it too. I mean, I guess you could sleep in a canoe, but a stove and a toilet on, it'd be pretty tight. Pretty tight.
I've got a name, Ken.
But it's not built in. What?
Final approach.
Final approach.
I have made my final approach.
Okay. It's
perfect runway landing.
root beer float.
No, I like that. Root beer float. I love root beer.
The money pit. Turbine Reserve. The Toby.
Soft.
SS follow me to the sandbar. I can't fire a canoe. No. Still think oatmeal is a good name. Hit the dock. No, that's what you try not to do. Just did that on the way when we came in last time. Kind of came in and kind of bounced off that side and bounced off the other side. Lost my wings.
Ken.
Happy birthday, Captain Ken. Yes.
There you go. Water wings. That's actually pretty good. Water wings.
I think I've seen that one.
Oh, probably to his wife.
And who is Steve talking to? What kind of a boat name is that?
By that.
The dog.
What?
The dog.
The dog?
He's talking to Kirby. Ooh, sea sloth. I like that.
Oops, it's a rock.
Casey.
Casey.
Oh, Casey.
What did I say, Kirby?
I guess so.
Casey. God, I cannot keep his dog straight, I swear.
Master Sander.
Botalica. Oh, Ken.
What?
I've been missing the obvious all along.
What?
Boatzilla.
Now that one's got to be original. My Dinosaur. The Love Boat. Fluffy. Bit by bit. Okay. Calling up the bridge tender saying, hey, this is Sailing Investor Bit by Bit. I'd like to request an opening.
There you go. There's the name of Raise the Bridge. Hi, this is Raise the Bridge. Could you raise the bridge? Boatzilla.
Genius. John Ashley. Thinks you're a
No,
genius.
go on back. Floatzilla.
Floatzilla.
Floatzilla, Boatzilla, they both work.
Do not name it Ocean Gate.
Oh, God. Too soon. Too soon.
If this
boat is rocking.
Coral Reef.
Well, if you're a Jimmy Buffett fan, it should be Coral Reefer.
You definitely don't want to run into Coral Reef.
No.
avoid Coral Reef at all.
Flotimus Maximus. That's actually not bad.
Wow, these guys are coming with some good names.
If I actually did get a boat, the name I'd probably have to get it would be Because Monica Said I Could. That's why I have the boat. Because Monica said I could.
And I thought you were being serious.
Wife's permission. There you go. With wife's permission.
Put a cork in it? Oh!
The Quint. Oh, there you go.
That's not too bad. Put a cork in it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is Sailing Investor. Put a cork in it.
Water wagon. Hey, it was a new hobby shop in Hamilton today. They had various kinds of. I'm just glad you got a new hobby shop. Pissing off Poseidon.
No.
I am not tempting fate.
You do
The
not-
Quinn Martin production. Oh, you remember the Quinn Martin? Yeah, FBI, the Invaders. The Quinn. It's a Quinn Martin production.
Oh, okay.
Act 1.
Okay.
Epilogue.
What was the name of the ship in the Land of the Giants?
Spindrift.
Is that what it was?
Spindrift. Yeah.
Oh, that's not so original then.
And
Airboat A320. He's thinking about that one.
no, I was just
We're gonna need a bigger boat. Well, I just noticed that we have managed to go past the 9 o'clock.
yeah.
mark.
What? How did you get that symbol on there? Something. Look at that symbol.
Yeah,
Garfield, how did you get that symbol on there? I don't know how to put symbols like that in the keyboard.
looks like a Y with a hat.
Some math symbol or Chinese
No, it's
or
not
something?
math. Definitely not.
Definitely not a smuggling boat. There you go. There's your name. No reefer on board.
Bite by bite.
Shamad?
Bought a Chevy Nomad for Bowery and got the license.
She mad.
She mad.
80 man, hey on boy. I tell you what, that guy could play the guitar, but he was a chain smoker.
Go to loop?
OODA loop.
No, it's go to loop.
No. In aviation, it's OODA loop. In the military, observe, orient, decide, act.
No, that's not what he's talking about there.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's a name. OODA loop.
Okay, it's a programming term.
Yeah, I know the go-to loop. I'm thinking the OODA loop. Same,
Well, go to doesn't have to be a loop, but it could be. Is that the-
Boolean loop. There you go, Boolean loop.
No, that doesn't make sense. Enter the
And the boat send help, send money.
Okay, so you enter the @ sign and then typed at. Not that keyboard. That's my work keyboard.
Oh, what do you type? You push what? The @ symbol,
Yeah.
and then wait. No, that's
Where are you typing it into? You got to put the focus down there first.
okay.
Loop, endless loop.
At. They're doing some weird shit. Oops, sorry, pardon my French.
On my my tagline on my email used to be
Whoa, what did I just do?
Before we talk about recursion, we have to talk about recursion.
Recursion?
Yes, recursion.
What's recursion? Reoccursion?
Recursion is it's a programming technique for code that calls itself.
Oh.
So before I can talk to you about recursion, I have to explain recursion. Kind of lost something in the translation.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay. Well, we are after 9 o'clock, guys. I think it's time to rest. Steve's still here.
I'm still here.
Endless loop. See loop endless.
Something like that. What symbol are you guys trying to figure out? I can't
Oh,
see
Garfield
anything.
had this weird Chinese.
That's what he said.
Oh.
David Dorr said that. So what symbol are you trying to figure out?
Oh, is he the weird symbol? I'm just trying to figure out how he made it. I don't. Oh well. I'm sure there's.
Yeah, C++ is.
It's a powerful language.
It is.
Well, okay, guys. I think that's a wrap for the evening. I'm glad everybody came out and had a little bit of fun. Steve, you want to say goodnight? We'll let everybody go.
There you go. That's even
Good night,
better.
guys. Thanks for chiming in, and I hope that you got enough tangents for the week. And
That's it. Tangential. That's the name of my boat.
we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah. And That's right. You're gone next weekend, aren't you?
No, you are, aren't you?
No, my thing's gonna be much weird. I'm still having a live stream next week.
Oh.
I think. I'll let you know if there's a change, but as far as I know, I am.
I thought you were going to be gone. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Sorry, I was wrong.
Well, man, his dark secrets. Well, guys, I want to thank you for coming out. I want to thank Ken for hosting me here and everything. Tomorrow we're going to go to the boomer shooter range. Taffy 3, there you go. We're going to go to the boomer shooter range and punch holes in paper targets, defending the universe from the dreaded paper target.
Because there's too many of them.
And by God, we got to do something about it. We cannot allow a paper target gap.
That's right.
There you go, mine shaft gap. That should. All right, guys, take care of yourself. Because I'm on this thing, when I turn it off, it's just going to go away. So no brass, no ammo. Oh, I like that one. No brass, no ammo. Okay. Guys, take care of yourselves. Talk to you later. As always, model on. Hit the button, Max.
It's the one on the right.
Yeah, there we go. And 3, 2.